How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. So over on Dixie for the daily, we did pull back a little bit. We do have an indecision candle. We pulled back to our 300 EMA again. Stochastic does want to round. RSI is starting to pull back. That VWAP or yellow wave does want to push down, and momentum, the blue wave, is weakening as a result. If that VWAP and momentum continue to push down, money flow will go deeper into the red, and we will have further sell-off. Remember, Dixie and crypto usually are inversely related. We're on Bitcoin dominance for the daily. We do have a push up beyond that value area high, so we are continuing forward. Remember, we want strong green candles to continue in this range if we're going to continue further up. Our stochastic is pushing up, momentum's gaining strength, VWAP is pushing up, and money flow is pushing up as well. So dominance does look positive. Remember, Bitcoin can still gain if dominance loses. This just shows Bitcoin could gain against our altcoins or total, which our total here is the market cap of all our altcoins. We are pushing up to that golden pocket top we did say to look for, so if we can continue to push forward from here, we could try to run up. I would exercise caution against rounding here. If we do round out here, we could form a head and shoulder where this is a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, and that would push us down below that 602, possibly to our 300 EMA. Our momentum is pulling back. VWAP is very bearish. Stochastic is dropping down. RSI is starting to drop a little bit. So if that stochastic continues to drop, our RSI will continue to weaken and price action would follow. Our VWAP does want to break bullish though, so if the lower time frames can favor bullish, we could continue further up. Again, just watch out if we reject here and carve out that shoulder. Stochastic does want to round away. RSI is trying to push forward, but if stochastic gives up strength, RSI will follow. VWAP is in the bullish territory, momentum does want to round, and money flow is bullish, but if that VWAP breaks down, we will see momentum break down and money flow would follow. Over on the 2 hour here, we are trying to push against that golden pocket, so we have made a healthy move up for this range, but it does look like a pretty straight rising channel, so I would exercise caution. Remember, those do bring you down. Stochastic does want to round away, RSI is pushing up, momentum's gaining strength. VWAP is starting to struggle, so watch that VWAP close. If it breaks that neutral and gets lower highs, momentum will start to weaken and money flow would reverse. It would start to weaken the higher time frames and bring us down. Over on the 1 hour here, our momentum is bullish, starting to lose strength as that VWAP is starting to struggle. Money flow is starting to pull back, stochastic and momentum at bearish divergence, so I would watch. Those could bring them lower, and that could cause us to see a retracement here. Over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we did stay within this channel. We did see Bitcoin's channel invalidate, but Bitcoin futures is still in a channel here. We do have connected highs and lows, so this channel could end up pushing us down if we're not careful in the long run. So I would watch for that 72K range. Take some profits if you haven't, just in case we do not get the break up to that 90K level. Our stochastic does want to push up. RSI is pushing forward. Momentum does want to gain strength. VWAP is trying to get higher lows, so if we can continue with strong highs, momentum would remain bullish, money flow could push up, and we could see a continued rise. But again, I would exercise caution. We do have that gap below us, and we did create another gap in the recent few days. Our stochastic on the 4 hour is starting to pull back. We do have our orange blue, RSI is pulling back. Momentum is starting to round, VWAP is breaking down, and money flow is starting to push down. So if VWAP and momentum continue lower, our money flow could break bearish and we could see a retracement here. Over on the 2 hour, we are starting to reject that 69K, so we did push up to that psychological support resistance, but we do need to break and hold it if we're going to get that continued push to test 72K again. Our momentum does want to round. We have a double red dot. Stochastic is pushing down. RSI is weakening and VWAP is pushing down, bringing money flow into the bearish territory. If that VWAP and momentum continue lower, we will see a sell-off on higher time frames. Apparently, I'm choking up on my words there. Over on the 1 hour, we are pushing forward. We do have that gap below, so again, exercise caution. They do have an 80% likelihood to fill. RSI is starting to pull back. Momentum does want to weaken. Stochastic is rounding away. VWAP is trying to break bullish, but it's starting to struggle. So if that VWAP breaks and gets a lower low, momentum will break down and money flow would weaken. We would then see a further sell-off, and that would weaken those higher time frames. And as futures does lead Bitcoin here, that would cause Bitcoin to start to sell off as well. So like we mentioned, we invalidate our channel. We will delete that channel now that it's no longer valid, but we could still have that push to around 71, 72K here providing futures gains momentum still. Stochastic is pushing up, RSI is gaining strength, momentum does want to push forward, our VWAP is trying to break that neutral, so watch that yellow wave close. If it can break and hold, we will see that blue wave momentum push forward and money flow could become green. That would give us the push forward. However, if that VWAP starts to reject, we will start to see a sell-off. If I can quit moving everything over on the 4-hour here, we do have pretty significant hits to this 69K. We keep hitting this area, we keep getting rejected. Watch if we do continue this rejection with strong red candles, as we could start to push back toward that 300 EMA, and we could make that slanted head and shoulders. Remember, we have a head and shoulders on futures that could bring futures lower. Stochastic does want to pull back, momentum does want to round, VWAP is pulling back, and the money flow is green but very weak. So watch that VWAP and momentum. If they continue to round away, we will see further sell-off here. Over on our 2-hour, we are in a pretty straight channel, so I would exercise caution. Remember, the rising channel does end up breaking you down overall, despite it giving you a little bit momentum to the upside. So that could try to push us back down to around that 66K if we're not careful. Stochastic is starting to drop, RSI is pulling back, momentum does want to round with the red dot, and VWAP is trying to break bearish, giving our money flow the momentum to push back down. So if that VWAP breaks down and gets lower low, momentum will continue lower and money flow will continue to sell off. That will result in the higher time frames possibly breaking, and we do have 2 touches to the top, so we may get early breakdown if we're not careful. RSI is pulling back, momentum does want to round, our stochastic is starting to pull back as well, VWAP is struggling to remain bullish, and money flow is starting to pull back. If that VWAP breaks down, we will see momentum continue lower and money flow would flip red. That would then weaken the higher time frames over several hours. Over on graph for the daily, we did get that bounce we suggested, so this is positive. It could try to invalidate our double top. I would still exercise caution against a push downward though. Stochastic does want to push down, RSI is gaining strength, momentum is starting to push down as well, VWAP is bearish and money flow is picking up bearish strength, so watch the lower time frames. They need to hold bullish territory to give that daily strength. Over on the 4-hour, stochastic's pretty flat, RSI is pretty flat, VWAP is starting to stagnate, so I would watch if that VWAP rounds away, getting a lower low. We will see bearish momentum start to gain, and momentum could round away, causing money flow to continue to sell off, and that would in turn weaken the daily. Over on the 2-hour, we did come up to our EMA band, and we are starting to struggle, so watch if we do not continue forward and hold above that 300, that black EMA. If we do not get above that and hold, then we are likely going to see a round away and see bearish momentum continue. Stochastic does want to push up, RSI is pushing forward, momentum is pushing forward, VWAP is bullish but very weak, so watch that VWAP close. If it breaks for a lower low, we will have lower highs with lower lows, giving us a bearish trend to push momentum and money flow lower. Over on the 1-hour, we are testing that 300 EMA, so this is a pretty critical spot on the 1-hour. If we can break and hold above this, we would make that test on the 2-hour and continue forward on higher time frames. VWAP is trying to remain bullish. We do have a higher high with technically a higher low, so if we can push off this neutral and get a higher high from here, we will see momentum remain bullish, money flow would pick up strength, and we would run forward through that EMA. However, if that VWAP breaks through our neutral and we push down in the next couple candles, then it's likely momentum will round away, money flow would break bearish, and we would see a bit of a rejection here. Over on Ankr for the daily, we are seeing a bit of a push toward that support resistance area of our 3070, 3079. Momentum is pulling back, stochastic is dropping, RSI does want to push forward, VWAP is gaining strength, and money flow is trying to push forward with a little bit of strength. So if the VWAP can remain a little bullish, we will see that money flow pick up strength. The 4-hour, we do have money flow flipping green, so that is positive. Momentum is pushing straight. We are seeing the VWAP hold bullish, so we do look like we could continue forward. Stochastic does want to round though, so I would exercise caution. That could cause RSI and price to fall back if we're not careful. Over on the 2-hour, we are trying to break that resistance, so we want to continue. We did break our 300 EMA, and we are holding. That gave us that run forward. That is pretty positive. That does suggest we could get a bullish run up. Stochastic does look like it could start to lose. We are overbought. We have been overbought for a while. Remember, eventually you will come back down. RSI does want to push up. Momentum is rounding. VWAP is starting to struggle. We have lower highs. We are trying to break that neutral, so if we get lower lows, we will see the bears gain some control and get a retest of that EMA. And if we do not hold above that EMA, then we could make another attempt toward that 2883. Over on the 1-hour, RSI is pretty flat, stochastic is flat, Our momentum is flat. VWAP is trying to push up, but it's very struggling. You can see if we zoom in, it does have some highs and some weaker lows, but the highs really don't outweigh the lows, so that could cause momentum to continue lower and give money flows some bearish momentum. Over on XRP, we did attempt to break from our rising channel. We got about half of our move, so we will delete this. We will say it's played out at this point. Providing the rest of the market pushes up, XRP could follow. So over on the daily, stochastic is starting to pull back. We can zoom out if you want to see more price. Stochastic's pushing back, RSI is starting to fall, momentum is rounding, VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, and money flow is bullish, but if the VWAP and momentum continue lower, that money flow will start to break as well. Over on the 4-hour here, we are above our EMAs. We did try to bounce off that yellow EMA, so if we can break the blue EMA and hold, we will continue forward, and then we could test that 67 cents. RSI does want to push up, stochastic is trying to gain strength, VWAP is trying to break that neutral, momentum does want to push with the green dot, so if that VWAP continues to push up, momentum will gain bullish strength, and we will see money flow get prevented from breaking down, providing that can hold over several candles. Over on the 2-hour, stochastic is running up, RSI is pushing forward, VWAP is gaining strength, momentum is pushing up from that green dot, so that's how they play out. So our money flow is trying to remain bullish. If that VWAP can continue with higher highs and higher lows from here, momentum will continue higher, and that money flow will gain further strength. That would help solidify our higher time frames. Over on the 1-hour, we do have a little bit of a bearish consolidation channel. I would watch. We want a higher high with higher lows to break us away from this, to give us the momentum forward. Otherwise, if we round away here, solidifying that lower high, we could see another push down to that 250 EMA and possibly break to the 300 if we're not careful. Stochastic does want to round, RSI is starting to pull back, VWAP is starting to push down, momentum is bullish, and money flow does want to break down, so watch that VWAP close. If the VWAP continues to drop away, momentum will break down and money flow could flip into the red, signaling bearish momentum, and if that holds for several hours, we would see a push downward. So finally, if there's no requests in chat, we have ALGO. We are trying to bounce off that neckline, so that is positive, much like graph. We will delete this. That could be an indication that we could get that rounding bottom to push us forward. Momentum does want to break down though. VWAP is trying to push up. If VWAP can gain strength, momentum could round and money flow could gain strength. Stochastic does want to push up, RSI is gaining strength, so we do look positive so far. Over on the 4-hour, we are seeing a run forward. Stochastic is bullish, RSI is pushing forward, VWAP is gaining strength, momentum is trying to break that neutral, and money flow does want to push up, so we do look positive for a continued push to the upside. Over on the 2-hour, stochastic is pushing up, RSI is pushing forward, momentum is gaining strength. That VWAP is starting to struggle though, so watch that VWAP. If that VWAP starts to break down, we will see momentum round and money flow could see a rejection and we could get a sell off. Over on the 1-hour, momentum is trying to continue bullish. VWAP is kind of leaning more bearish, so we have lower highs and we are struggling to hold bullish. So if we do not get a higher high from here, we will see VWAP break away, momentum would drop down and money flow would sell off, and that would cause a further sell off. Thank you for watching tonight's video.